LSAT PrepTest 21, Section 1, questions 12 through 17, the third logic game of this section. So let's take a look. Okay, so we have an attorney who is scheduling interviews with witnesses for a given week, Monday through Saturday. 2 full consecutive days of the week must be reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses. Okay. In addition, non-hostile witnesses Q, R, U, X, Y, and Z will each be interviewed exactly once for a full morning or full afternoon. Ah, I see. So the only witnesses who will be interviewed simultaneously with each other are Q and R. Okay, so there's lots and lots of rules in this stimulus. So they're worth parsing out one by one, right? So the first thing is that we have Monday through Saturday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Except that it tells us here that we're interviewing the non-hostile witnesses for a full morning or afternoon. So it turns out that it's not just one layer of sequencing. It's 2 layers of sequencing. We have mornings and we have afternoons, right? This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Great. Okay, so what else does this stimulus tell us? It tells us that 2 full consecutive days of the week must be reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses. What does that mean? It means that 2 full days of the week, meaning morning and afternoon, right? So hostile, morning, afternoon, and it's got to be 2 days in a row, right? So it's got to look like this. It's got to be the square with the square of hostile witnesses somewhere in here, which immediately limits the options that we have, right? Either hostile witnesses go Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday. I mean, but that's still 5 possibilities, but that's a lot less than there were before. Okay, what else does it tell us? It tells us that Q and R are the only witnesses who will be interviewed simultaneously with each other. So that tells us 2 things. Number 1, it tells us that Q and R will be interviewed simultaneously together, right? So Q and R are together in a block. And number 2, it tells us that nobody else has that same luxury, right? U, X, Y, and Z all have to face sort of the firing squad on their own. Okay, so now let's just go through and these actual rules. What do they say? So the first rule says that X must be interviewed on Thursday morning. So X is right here. Great. And see, this immediately limits our options even further to, in terms of the hostile rule, to this square, or this square, right? Thursday is now no longer an option. Q must be interviewed sometime before X, right? So actually, this whole block Q and R has to be before X, right? What else? U must be interviewed at some time before R. So U has to be before this block QR, right? And Z must be interviewed after X and after Y. So Z must be interviewed sometime after X and sometime after Y, right? So this, combining the rules in the stimulus with the actual rules they give us yields us this this sort of chart right here, right? Okay, so thinking about this a little bit, right? What we know for sure is that there's got to be 2 things, right? Because this QR block is actually just one thing. 2 things before X, 2 things after X, right? Which means that there's only so many different places that this hostile witness block can go, right? So there's only 4 possibilities. This possibility, or 3 possibilities now, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday and Saturday, right? So I mean, let's actually, let's cheat and make a digital copy of these. Oops. So that we can actually properly see what's going on here. So let's actually swap these guys so that we can actually put all 3 of these charts together. Right. And then this can be a little bit smaller. We can put it up here. Great. So in each of these cases, X is on Thursday. That's fine, right? And now we can just start filling in these hostile witness slots. Right. This is possibility 1, possibility 2, possibility 3. Okay. So let's actually make these smaller too, so that we can fit them all in one sort of. Oops, didn't want to make it that small. So we can basically bunch them a little closer together, so that we don't have to waste horizontal space. So this goes here, this goes here, and then this one goes down here. Okay, great. So these are our 3 setups, basically, right? So the first thing is that something's got to come after X. Z has to come after X, right? So in this case, where hostile witnesses are taking up Friday and Saturday, we actually just have to put z right here. Right there's just no other option. What else do we know? Well, in these two cases, right, u and qr both have to come before x, and they have to come in that order, right? So in this first scenario, there's only 2 slots before x, so u and qr have to go in those slots. Right here, still only 2 before x, so u and qr have to go in those slots. Right, so now we have a ton of information. Right, so over here, all we're looking to place is z and y with this relationship that y comes before z. And so, so z can't come here, for instance. Here, very similarly, y has to come before z. Over here, we have y somewhere before z, but now we also have to place u before qr. Right? In these 6 slots, this relationship has to be true, and this relationship also has to be true. Right? So there's actually a lot of information here. It doesn't seem like it, but then once you figure out that they're giving you a ton of information in the stimulus itself, it really helps the process along. Oops, that's not going to cut it. Let's go a little further down. There we go. Okay, so let's just actually go ahead and start looking at these questions now. So question number 12 is your typical acceptability. Right? So which of the following is a sequence from first to last in which non-hostile witnesses could be interviewed? Right? So you have QR, U, X, Y, Z. That's the answer choice A. B is Q, U, R, X, Y, Z. Then you have U, X, Q, R, Y, Z. Answer choice D is U, Y, Q, R, X, and Z. Answer choice E is X, Q, U, Z, R, Y. And I hope that while I was doing this, you immediately started identifying some of the things that were incorrect. Right? So for example, this thing that, QR can be together, but XY can't be together, QU can't come together, so those are immediately out. Right? What else? U comes before QR. U does not come before QR in this case, so that's out. So UQR, UQR, that's fine. QR before X, QR before X, QR not before X. Right? So answer choice D, just very, very quick, simple process of elimination gets you that right answer. How about 13? Which of the following is acceptable as a complete schedule of witnesses for Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, and Wednesday morning, respectively? So before we even talk about this, they want Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, and Wednesday morning, right? So let's just actually look, right? So in this first case, let's actually number these 1, 2, and 3. So in the first case, Tuesday morning is hostile, Tuesday afternoon is hostile, Wednesday morning is U. In the second case, Tuesday morning is hostile, Wednesday morning is hostile, or Tuesday afternoon is hostile, Wednesday morning also hostile. The third one is pretty much whatever, right? Like all we need is that U has to come before QR and Y has to come before Z. So it's just 3 blank slots, right? Okay, so looking at these answer choices. Answer choice A is QR blank, right? And then there's R blank Y. There's U blank X, UY blank, and YZ blank. Okay, so immediately what we see is that none of these have anything to do with hostile witnesses. So scenario 1, scenario 2 are completely crossed out, right? And so now the only thing we have to figure out is whether or not we can put these guys into Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So let's start here. Q, R, blank. No, these two guys have to be together, right? So that's clearly not correct. How about R, blank, Y? Right? So what do we know about R? R has to be with Q, so R can't be alone, right? There's no way. So get rid of that. How about answer choice C? U blank X. Well, I mean U blank X, but then X here is on Thursday. We know it's on Thursday, so it can never be on Wednesday morning. So forget it. U Y blank. Well, U has to come before QR. Y has to come before Z. So if we have Q here, or U here, I'm sorry, Y here, and then nothing here, we need to put Q, R, and Z all over here, right? Which is, I guess, okay, right? Because, well, where's Z? Z is over here. So U is going to come before QR over here. Y is going to come before Z over here. And that works, right? So answer choice D does, in fact, work. Okay. Going back through this just one more time. So Y, Z, blank. Okay. That leaves U and QR to handle. Or YZ blank, rather. Yeah, so that leaves U and QR to handle. But then remember the rules that we have associated with Z, right? Z has to have X before it, And we can't do that, right? Z can never come. So Z can actually never come because X is over here somewhere, right? So that's why E is also not correct. So it turns out that answer choice D is, in fact, the correct answer here. Okay, let's do one more. Question 14. If Y is interviewed at some time after X. Okay, so now not only do we know the relationship between X and Z, now we know the relationship between Y and Z as well, right? So now there's two things behind X. So it looks like U to QR to X goes to Z. Y is also before Z, but then X comes before Y. So now we know the relationship between all of these elements, right? Okay, which one of the following must be a day reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses? Okay, so basically we need Z and Y to come after X, which can happen here and here, but it can't happen here, right? So immediately scenario 3 is out. So of scenario 1 and 2, we're asking for a day that must be reserved for hostile witnesses. Well, here's Monday and Tuesday. Here's Tuesday and Wednesday. What do they have in common? Tuesday. And which answer choice is that? Answer choice B. So that's question 14. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this stuff, and we can keep going. So get rid of that, clean this up a little bit. That's fine. Okay, and let's move to question 15. Question 15 says, if R is interviewed at some time after Y. Okay, so Y has got to be before this QR block, right? So U, QR, X, Z, and now Y is also before Z, but Y also has to be before QR, right? So once again, we know additional piece of information here. Which one of the following must be a day reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses, right? Okay, so once again, right, it's got to be, QR has got to have two spaces before. It's got to have U and it's got to have Y, right? So here, QR has only got one space behind it, so it can't. So if we number out our scenarios, it can't be scenario 1. How about scenario 2? QR still only has one guy behind it, so scenario 2 is not right. So it must be here in scenario 3 where we can actually make this happen, right? And so what are the days that are reserved for hostile witnesses here? Friday and Saturday. Which one of those is an answer choice? Friday. And that's answer choice E. Moving on to 16. If on Wednesday afternoon and on Monday the attorney conducts no interviews. Okay, so immediately there's no interviews on Monday, which means that 1 is immediately out, 2 is immediately out, which means that all we have to do is now we're talking about this one right here, right? Number 3. Right, so now additionally we're saying that there's nothing on Monday, right? So actually I shouldn't use X because that's a letter, but let's just black it out, right? And then Wednesday afternoon there's also nothing, right? So what are the elements that we've placed? We've placed X and Z. We need to put U, QR, and Y, right? So U has to come before QR. That's a rule. And then Y, as long as it comes before Z, which it's always going to, is fine, right? Okay, so if this is the case, then what must be true? Oh, they're asking us what must be true. So it's likely that we're not even going to have to use this. Okay, so answer is A. Q is interviewed on the same day as U. That doesn't have to be the case, right? U, Y, Q, R? No way. How about B? R is interviewed on the same day as Y. No, that's not to be it, right? U, Q, R, Y. There's no reason that has to be true. How about C? Y is interviewed before U. So U, Q, R, Y. There's no reason that has to be true. Answer choice D. Y is interviewed before Wednesday. That could be true. It doesn't have to be U, Q, R, Y, right? And then how about E? Z is interviewed sometime before Friday. Yeah, that's got to be it. That's this right here, right? So answer choice E is the right answer to this question. All right, home stretch. Question 17. If Z is interviewed on Saturday morning. Okay, so that immediately takes scenario 3 out of the running because in scenario 3, Saturday morning is reserved for hostiles. So let's actually reproduce this chart. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, this is R, F, S. We have morning and afternoon, right? And so what do we know? We know that X is on Thursday morning. Now we know that Z is on Saturday morning. Okay, which of the following can be true? So if Z is on Saturday morning, it's got to have everything else in front of it, right? So there's nothing here on Saturday afternoon. X is obviously in front of it. So what are the rules we need to satisfy? We need U before QR, and that's got to be before Thursday, and then we have to put Y before Z, but that's fine because we can put Y pretty much anywhere, right? Okay, so looking at these A, B, C, D, and E to close out this section. Answer choice A. Can Wednesday be a day reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses I can't read, right? Well, no, because it's not scenario 3, which means it's either Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday. Oh yeah, it can be. I'm sorry, I apologize. It can be like it's either Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So in scenario 2, answer choice A could be correct, right? Which means that which implies that the rest of these have to be wrong. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. So answer choice B. Friday is a day reserved for interviewing hostile witnesses. No, that can never be the case. R is interviewed on Thursday. Can R be interviewed on Thursday? Well, I mean, it would have to be here, right? QR over here. Except that look over here, right? R interviewed on Thursday can never happen in scenarios 1 or 2, right? So this is actually kind of an incomplete diagram. So we can even just get rid of it. There's no reason. We just have to look at diagrams 1 and 2 over here on the left, right? So 1 and 2 over here on the left to follow along, right? So C is just not true. QR has to be either on Wednesday or Monday, not Thursday. How about you? You interviewed on a Tuesday? No, because in scenario 1, interviewed on Wednesday. Scenario 2, interviewed on a Monday. There's no way. And how about E? Y is interviewed before Thursday? That can't be the case, right? Because we've actually filled up all the slots before Thursday. We filled up all the slots before Thursday. So the earliest that Y can be interviewed here is on Thursday afternoon. And so answer choice E also just doesn't have to be true. So it turns out answer choice A is the only one that can be true, right? Hostile witnesses here. That means U, Q, R, X, and then Y and Z on Saturday morning, right? And so this is the answer. I guess I should make this clearer, right? Answer to question 17 is A. Answer to question 16 is E. And so that's all the questions in this game.